of course, it's going to be Aerowolf. Let's see if they can do it.
Look, Jordan, it's the team with no pressure versus the team with all the pressure here on Map 2, which might be the end of it, as you said. Let's get into this.
And see a Montaigne ban, first ban there by Cloud9. That's another strong ban area, like you said last map. They like to use Montaigne quite a bit, so that's that off the board straight away.
Yeah, and Aero getting rid of that Hibana as well. I know we've seen a bit in the earlier today of how Aerowolf comfortable playing without the Hibana. I think they did so against Xavier earlier in the season. But, you know, as I was talking to Inti and Ewok about the Aerowolf versus Xavier match, which was a draw. So that's a pretty good result for Aerowolf, right? You know,
yeah,
drawing against
definitely.
Xavier. But supposedly, you know, Xavier, it wasn't their highest priority to perform in that match because obviously they'd already qualified for this event. So, you know, read into that how you will. I still think that there's, you know, a potential for a strong performance from Aerowolf. I think that most people are expecting this to be closer than the previous map, and I would agree with them.
Yeah, me too. I think C9 are going to step it up, and I think this will be a real slugfest here. Obviously, Aero, like you said, had a really good performance against Xavier in the final round of the Pro League, which resulted in a draw, which was Xavier's really only unfavorable result for the season. Yeah. So that's saying something. We are going to see C9 on defense for the first half here. They will take the Lockers bomb room for the first defense rounds. They are going to play a very standard looking lineup here. Definitely the most classic lineup you'd see for this defense. Yeah,
I mean, the Pulse is so useful, and that's 6 picked onto instead of the Castles. So perhaps that Castle try to tease out that they're either going for a hard, you know, open area hold with the Castle on this downstairs bomb site, or that they're defending top floor. And either way, you know, Aerowolf may well be baited into changing their operators because of that, but I think, you know, fairly staple on the Aerowolf side with no Hibana. You're making sure to bring both of those hard breaches of Maverick and Thermite, and I think that, you know, it's pretty clear to see Thatcher denies a lot of information in the way of like the Pulse and then the IQ as well.
Yeah, really interesting point here too. Aerowolf have lost 4 of their first 5 drones in prep phase, so that drone economy is going to be really affected for this attack, which can be really important for that basement. Sometimes you lose a lot of drones just trying to take server if there's a heavy server hold. So the fact that they're only going to have 6 drones left for the rest of this attack, that could really come back to bite them.
I think I heard Fabian once say, you know, if his team loses 1 drone in the prep phase, that's like, oh, come on, mate. And if they lose 2 drones, that's like, you know, prep phase failed. And, you know, we're looking at Aerowolf lost 4. So make it a bit difficult in terms of the information gathering. But they're still very confident moving in early. Sweet Black sleep at the wheel, maybe. Not realizing that Aerowolf do like to move in early. I love that. Like, that's literally just, all right, live drone me in, says Luna. He goes for it, and then the drone and Luna gets back out again.
Yeah, C9 obviously weren't expecting it at all, especially Sweet Black. We talked about that lack of a drone economy, but that one drone just droned him straight in for that frag and literally followed him straight back out. So good use there to get that pick, and that's an early advantage for Aero. They've got their other drones placed quite well around bomb site. Hysterix is taking Garage quite aggressively here. This is really good early time management from Aero on this attack. Envy Taylor's holding a nice tight angle with this SMG-11. It's quite a long-range gunfight compared to that L8 assault rifle, though, so you wouldn't favor the SMG-11 in that kind of range, but he's going to take away from that peak, and the Thatcher's safe for now. We see a Yokai coming down to potentially try and harass that Thatcher, but he's going to bail out, potentially peek before he goes, though.
Oh, no way! That's so much work done for Hysterix. It was a great read from Cloud9 to try to retake Garage. It's such a pivotal position, especially when that wall into Red Hallway is soft, but Hysterix just turned around at the perfect timing. Not only did he destroy the Yokai drone, but he also killed Envy Taylor. There really needed to be a communication from Nova on the Yokai to say, look, don't peek, he's looking at you, and then try to get his drone out of there. But no, that's worst case scenario for Cloud9.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, he tried to engage that SMG-11, but it was even longer than when I first mentioned it being an issue in the first place. So unfortunate there. He took him low, but just not quite enough. Nulio has replaced the position he was in on that main stairs. The Pulse will be getting the intel from the push-in server, so as tradition, Aerowolf will be taking the server. They're opening up the short and the long wall so that they can bait and hold the angles at the same time. Mentalist will unfortunately drop the diffuser, but he picks it up quite quick, so not too much of a delay there. They're starting to bait out this plant. They're going to have to throw this C4. Oh, it's shot as well. So, oh, a nice shot there onto Hysterix. So 4v3. Speakeasy and Luna will team up to get 2, and it's just a 4v1 with the Echo, the last one up.
There's a lot of work to be done for Nova, and I don't believe as a 1-speed is really able to make this work. 4 players to find, and I don't think you can even deny that plan. It's a decent angle, but just not good enough. Aerowolf going to be feeling very comfortable now, knowing exactly where he is. Pre-fire onto that one. It's a good first round for the Singaporeans.
Really strong first round from them. That's that early pick, and then even that garage fight that they won, getting that 5v3 with around half the round to go. Really, really strong start from Aero, and it looks like C9 are in some trouble already on Bank.
Look, Cloud9 are no chumps on Bank. You know, at the Invitational just this year, they played Liquid, Team Liquid, the Brazilian team on this map. And it was a close game. They didn't win it. It was they lost 5-7, which, you know, we're talking about Cloud9 and Aerowolf where the scoreline was 1-7. And I think that surely, you know, Aerowolf isn't as a prestigious team as Team Liquid. Cloud9 surely should be racking up at least 5 rounds, I reckon, in my opinion, on this map.
Yeah, well, they're going to want to get more than that if they're going to stay in the fight for the semi-final. We will see C9 go to the top floor bomb site, CEO. They did 6-pick off a castle for an alibi, which I am definitely against. I think castle is strong for this bomb site, and the alibi is not so strong in my opinion. So what do you think of that, Dev?
Well, I mean, it's a good thing to talk about, right? We were looking at Xavier earlier today, the way that they were using the alibi on this top floor. It was to do with playing, particularly in the janitor's closet. Actually, no, it was August, I think, who were playing it. Nonetheless, it was to do with, you know, getting these gunfights, which will occur. These long angles, you want to obstruct as many lines of sight as you can with those prismas. And look, to me, I know that you're often of the opinion that it's a waste of utility when you could really pick an operator with more utility, but I think it's a bit about the gamble. You know, what other utility do you have? Do you need more utility? You know, maybe it would have been nice to see an Echo. I think that's the only thing I'm missing. And if it was me, I would not trade out the Echo for the alibi. I'd trade it out for the Doc.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we will see Aero start to approach from the windows on the north side. That IQ will start to find some utility and clear it off site, such as the ADSs, and even find some Valkyrie cameras so that they can start pushing onto bomb site. Yet to establish whether Aero are going to favor the square stairs side or whether they're going to favor the lobby. We do see Hysterics repel on the lobby side. He's just trying to get some shots through those windows. Often you can get a nice pre-fire frag through those windows, but at this stage, no frag coming out, and we will see the Jackal push onto these skylight stairs. So this might indicate the fact that the push might initially come from this side. That's a Valkyrie cam taken out, so there's some intel denied already with a minute to go. Sweet Black has been tagged low already, playing on site. We see more of Aero coming to this side, so yeah, definitely going to be a push from this skylight. Be good if Aero can get these walls open early. That'll really put a lot of pressure on the Cloud9.
And what we see so often as a factor on this top floor bomb site is that rappel onto those north-facing windows, peeking in south to clear out players in the bomb site. But at the moment, there's not so many players, defenders rather, who would be exposed to that position. And I really think that the lack of an Echo is really disturbing for Cloud9, because if there's no players actually poised to take gunfights onto where Aerowolf may attempt to be planting, then Cloud9 don't have that many ways to influence a plant.
That's the 4 kill coming out from Sweet Black. That was a bit unlucky. He was quite low below the window, but it was just enough damage to get the kill. But the Thermite will open the wall. C9 will have to retreat out of the CEO bomb site, and Aero now have some pretty solid progress with around a minute to go for the execute.
And here's the alibi working a little bit. So Mentalist has to peek less aggressively now. Here's another example of where the alibi is useful, but not useful enough for Nova, as Speakeasy is successful on his pre-fire. It's a good refrag though, but okay, finally we have Sweet Black retaking some ground. Still, it's a bit up in the air for Cloud9. 3 versus 3, lots of time for Aerowolf. And Cloud9 don't have any more C4s remaining.
Yeah, they're really going to have to rely on these smokes for denial here. 40 seconds to go with a 3v3. Thermite is going to try and push this janitor. He's aware someone's in that position. He's hit the Prisma though, so he's going to have to retreat. Envy Taylor will get a frag onto Hysterics. So that is a 2v3 now in favor of C9 with 30 seconds to go. The IQ is tagged up. Mentalist will get a frag onto Heady. That is a 2v2, less than 20 seconds to go now. They're going to have to start getting this execute down. They are. Mentalist is taking the plant. Luna is trying to cover from that left-hand bridge, and not too much pressure being put on this plant now, so it is successful. Luna and Mentalist both alive. Envy Taylor will get Luna though, so Mentalist is on the rappel. He's going to have to play this very carefully. If there is a vault, he's going to have to get that frag, otherwise it will be round over for Aero. C9 just approaching very slow and cautiously, trying to find out his position. They're going to eventually figure that he's repelling. They've baited it out. He's moved, so surely the Doc has heard his position. He's going to be aware.
Oh,
there is
no,
a ping coming out.
Grenade.
That stun grenade's going to be really good because now the Doc will be wide. Oh, he's jumped out, but that is a frag from Mentalist. He's in a really strong position now.
No way.
He can definitely deny this. This is winnable for Mentalist, and he will secure that round for Aero. Excellently played by Mentalist, repelled on those windows. He was disadvantaged with the men, but at the end of the day, he just played it so well.
Yeah. Really well played in that 1 versus 2, but the thing for me is that if that Doc was an Echo, that wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have even gotten there.
That's true.
That was a perfect opportunity for, there's only 10 seconds left. They're forcing down a plant. Do you have information on the bomb site, one, and do you have denial on the bomb plant? And both of those questions would have been yes if that Doc was an Echo.
Yeah, that's right, and we're going to see them repeat the bomb site. At this stage, they've brought the same lineup. We will see if they 6-pick off one of these operators. They are 6-picking the Doc to the Echo. So as you were saying, Dev, it would have been really helpful. And now they're going to do it. So we'll see how this changes up. Hysterics potentially 6-picking off the Thatcher. That could be an interesting decision. They're going with the Ying instead of the Thatcher. The Thatcher is very helpful for attacking this bomb site if there's a bit of wall denial happening.
Yeah, there's also a little bit of switch of roles as well. We often see Luna plays a bit of Ying, and Hysterics, often on a 3-speed fragger, but there's the flexibility to move that around.
Yeah. And also there's not much wall denial from C9, so the Thatcher potentially only taking out the ADSs as well as helping to disable the Yokai drones. They do have an IQ to spot out those Yokai drones and shoot them, which is an even better counter to that. So we'll see how this plays out for Aero and their change with the lineup. C9, on the other hand, bring that Echo much more favorably than what they had before. This will be very interesting how this round plays out to see how the adaptations come out from C9. They played it pretty well with their last play, but just unfortunate that they ended up not securing that post-plant situation. Mentalist playing it beautifully on the repel.
Yeah, Cloud9 really have everything set up, I think, to take this. And look, speaking about that Echo drone, and you mentioned the IQ as a potential counter, we've seen Aerowolf in their Pro League matches counter the Echo reasonably well among a lot of the other utility on the Cloud9 side, so specifically the ADSs, which now will be come into play with the Ying. Because Aerowolf send a player in to the floor below the bomb site, it's actually, the tellers and that kind of area, they would just shoot all of the utility through the floor. But if Neilio just keeps the Yokai in his pocket, then that's not even going to come into play. Neilio just stays alive, and in last second, he can throw out a Yokai from his pocket, a little bit of a frisbee maneuver, and then deny the plant with that.
Yeah, you'll want to be seeing the early aggression coming out of Nova and MV Taylor with those more dispensable operators. You definitely don't want to see this Echo trying to get too aggressive too early. Aero are really good at setting up these angles. They held these angles and repel quite for a long time on their previous attack for this bomb site. So I think if Cloud9 play the early game really patiently, then they can definitely counter Aero on the execute. We do see Ysera in quite an aggressive position there on the main stairs, holding the angle into the meeting. C9 heavily on site here, and Aero have really surrounded them, so it's going to be potentially a late drop from C9 with a flank for that aggression. Otherwise, we're going to see a lot of gunfights happening on and around site. Aero are going to start trying to push to open this wall. Mentalist will put the charge down. Can it be impact tricked by the alibi? She's not in position, and it's not picked off, so that wall will go open. With half the round to go, it's a strong position from Aero now because they can start locking down bomb site. They can start repositioning the defense so that they can get that execute happening.
The quiet period at the moment for Aerowolf. We know how much of explosive utility they do have, particularly those Ying Candelas, but the question is when will they use them? And will Cloud9 be caught out? Because so far, Cloud9, the issue we've had with them is that they haven't had that ability to have an impact on the plays. And Ysera really shouldn't be allowed to get away with this. And yet he does, almost 2 times over. Will he surely be taken out eventually? It happens. Neilio needs to play passively now if he wants to use his utility for the plant denial. But, oh, it's a good play from MV Taylor. Still, the plant may well be going down. And where are the Yokais? Not available, surely, but that plant is pulled off of, and that's a good position for Cloud9 now. Still quite a lot of time remaining for Aerowolf, but they've lost the ground. Cloud9 are ready with their plant denial. Hysterics in a very exposed position. He'll be taken down. That's Ying off the board. Just 2 players remaining for Aerowolf, and time is ticking away. Lunametal knows that there's no opportunity to use that drone, and he'll have to frag out to cover his teammate. Mental goes down. It's just the 1 player left. The captain, he's caught out by these alibi devices, and Cloud9 get in the game.
Yeah, really well played by C9 there on that defense. I think the Echo really helped them. They had a lot more intel on the bomb side, although they weren't able to deny that initial attempt at plant with the Yokai drone. That intel after that attempt was really critical. They were able to stun the Ying trying to make an aggressive play and then eventually get the frag position. So yeah, a nice adaptation there from C9. We see them on the board. That's starting to shake a bit of the monkey off the back, and they're just going to try and push on with this Lockers bomb site. I
honestly believe that the Echo is the linchpin of the difference between those two defenses. And it makes you a bit frustrated seeing C9 miss that in the first time around. It seems to me a little bit obvious. You didn't have enough information gathering on the bomb site. You didn't have enough plant denial. Bring the Echo. It shouldn't have taken an extra round to work that out.
Yeah, I agree, and we're going to see them bring it again here on the basement bomb side. Hopefully Sweet Black can be a little bit more aware in that first 30 seconds during his setup so that they don't lose him early.
I mean, look, that's the kind of mistake that you only make once.
That's true.
But the problem is if the mistake ends up, frazzling you, if it affects you mentally, then you'll end up making other mistakes.
Yeah, I think by this stage he would have shaken it off and been like, okay, I'm just going to be ready this time. It's no big deal. It definitely hasn't affected them because they've managed to get around now. We see a pretty standard setup coming out of C9, so I don't expect to see anything particularly different coming out of their play here. I imagine Hetty will play that gold bars section with the pulse just to pulse out the server, and we might see the Valkyrie try and do a bit of a flank, but generally they think they're going to stay on side and just do what they can to deny Aero that push in.
I mean, we can always see from Cloud9 the Fnatic maneuver that you and I were talking about earlier today. We have Pulse and Valkyrie, two operators for information gathering to check if there is anyone watching that flank. And then send up a player or two up the main stairs if there isn't. Use that information and leverage that to execute a flank. Because that's what Old Mantis were always good at.
Yeah, that's really true. And as you said, Fnatic quite often do that on maps like Consulate, for example. So that's something that C9 could try and execute here, just to throw Aerowolf off their jam. And Aerowolf will try and push in quite early here, taking control into lobby. So nice little push here from Aero. They've obviously cleared top floor, so they can start really starting to put pressure onto the hatches and pressure onto bomb site. Speakeasy will get some feet. That is the Pulse, so they're aware of where the Pulse is. Currently playing in server. He will go back onto bomb site, so that is all C9 back on the bomb site here. And Aero with some good progress early.
Yeah, obviously you have to convert this stage 1, droning out the map, into a stage 2, starting affecting onto the bomb site, but Aerowolf have a bit of time, only 1 minute subsided, so I think this is when the stage 2 starts. I don't have to, rag on them for not getting it done just yet. And here we have that starting to happen with these hatches being open, but this is where it really comes into question for Cloud9. How difficult are the obstacles that they're presenting for Aerowolf to overcome? Because, look, it's been a little bit not enough, in my opinion, so far, and finally, I think that we might see that change.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, not too much resistance at all. They're going to get the long wall open, and they're going to get the short wall open here. Hetty says they're watching it all happen, and they're going to be able to start baiting this utility out with the smoke and the C4s with over a minute to go, which is a strong position because it can take a bit of time to get that bait done effectively, but they've got that time now. We see the first smoke grenade come out, so they can start effectively baiting, getting ready for this plant. The C4 is pre-ripped by Sweet Black, so if they're unaware of that and they stop the smoke grenade, he could get a cheeky C4 kill. We see Aero heavily set up in server. There's 3 players in server. Speakeasy will get a frag, though, onto the smoke. C4 coming out to get Mentalist, so that is the plant down. They're going to have to re-pick up Diffuser. That is a waste of the next C4. He tried to get it early before Aero could react, but unfortunately, nothing came to avail there.
Such good time management for Aerowolf. Look at this, 40 seconds down. All the utility wasted by Cloud9. Where are the Yokai drones? All the C4s are gone. The smoke is dead. This is, and there was no peak. Like, Cloud9 is the team we know for their aggression. This is the least aggressive we've ever seen them. And now Aerowolf can just wait and see for what happens. Cloud9 have to make these peaks, and they might win some of them, but surely not all of them. It's looking pretty good so far. They've turned it into a 2 versus 2, but I don't think that it'll get much further than that. Just Neilio left. He has a good position above, but he's revealed that now and is likely to die here. There you have it. Aerowolf looking so good.
Yeah, another really strong attack out of Aero. They just stormed through the map. Not much resistance from C9, so they were able to just get to bomb site and have their way with how they wanted to set up that execute. They had so much time to bait out the utility, and even then, C9 wasting some of that utility. That second C4 didn't really delay any time. It didn't even get a frag, so again, really strong from Aero.
And even that first C4, that went at the same time as a smoke babe. So
that's true.
You're wasting one or the other. You have to choose that. You can't put both down, especially when there's still 45 seconds remaining. Because you really need to, in my opinion, you need to decide, are you using C4s first or C4s after, or how are you going to space that out? But your smokes, you can count yourself for 30 seconds. Your Echo drones, maybe another 10. but your C4s are the ones that make the serious impacts. You have to nail those. 1 out of 2 is pretty good, but it's not enough when you haven't got any other free picks. And the other thing for Cloud9 is that we don't see them do what for teams like Xavier did. When Xavier ran out of utility, they just peek.
Yeah.
And they throw bodies at them, and it works. Whereas Cloud9 didn't start throwing their bodies at the enemy until the plant had already gone down.
And that's something we've seen C9 do before, right? To start throwing their bodies into those peaks. You mentioned that C9, also known for their peaks, no one peeks that red hallway. And even as Aerowolf were approaching the server, no one really trying to hassle them back from their position or make them think twice about what they were doing. So hopefully we can see that out of C9. They have decided to reattempt this bomb site with the same lineup. I would really like to see them try to resist the pushes a bit more, just so that Aero just don't feel so comfortable to take all the control they did so quickly. You can't let the attacking team on this bomb site get that wall open with too much time. It's really, really plays into your hands if they're trying to bait out with 30 seconds to go. That's when it's really hectic, and that's when it really favors the defense. So C9 just need to try get it to that stage with 30 seconds to go.
And C9 were always the team in APAC that we called, you know, the aggressive team. That was their character. That was their identity. And I haven't seen any of that today. Not in this map, and not in map number 1.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. More often than not, they're really not deciding to take the aggressive play at all, and we haven't seen many like devastating flanks out of them, which we've seen before, or even just aggressive peaks.
Yes,
yeah,
I mean, some teams will just peek dumb things and it works, and that's something that we would historically see of Cloud9, and we're not even seeing the attempt, let alone success.
Yeah, we see Ysera trying to make a couple of those small holes so he can get the angle into the red hallway as opposed to open that hatch. Again, this is really quick progress from Aero. They've taken the first 2 floors of the bomb site, so it means they can start getting ready for an execute here. C9 really have to start resisting this server. If they just let Aero take the server now, they can start to get the wall open. We do see some resistance coming out though, but it's already backed off. So Luna, he actually picks up the frag as well, which is the pulse, which is a really, really big deal. The pulse gets so much intel in that gold bar room. And here we see Aero getting into this strong position, which they can again open these walls and start baiting with over a minute to go.
Cloud9 is just doing everything default, and you can't get away with that. That's not acceptable. You have to do a lot more than just do what the enemy expects. And if you are doing what the enemy expects, then you have to whip out plays. And we're not seeing any plays. Any Cloud9 players decide, okay, this is my chance to step up, I'm doing something. And that's the real thing that's missing for Cloud9.
Yeah, and we see the Yokai drone there close to where the execute will go down. There is just under a minute to go, so Aero can start popping out this utility to get rid of the ADSs, and they can start baiting out the utilities such as the smoke grenades and these C4s. In fact, there's no smoke. I just realized that we've only got C4s to bait out as well as the Yokais. The EMPs will cover that, but we see the first C4 happening here. There's the Yokai drone rushing forward. They're not doing it, and now the plan is done, and Aero can just get ready for post-plant. We didn't see them pull the trigger on any utility, so...
I think that maybe they shot the C4, but there's a second C4 off the table because Asterix has found a good kill. Aerowolf have done so much work covering that long angle, and I think that's what needs to be denied by Cloud9. But MV Taylor's in a decent position to retake. He's taken down Asterix finally, but there's another player right around this corner. The shotgun is good in close range, but he only has 2 rounds. That's all remaining. He has to reload the SMG-11. It's just him and Neilio to make this happen, but even if they find all the frags, the time is ticking away. MV Taylor is the last man standing. He has no time, and he has 2 players to find. It won't happen. Aerowolf are looking so comfortable right now, and Cloud9 on the other hand, they're doing the same thing over and over, and it's so predictable, and there's nothing special about it.
Yeah, they tried a little bit to resist the push from Aero with the pulse playing in the server, but he legged it really quickly as soon as the pressure came, and in fact he didn't even get out of there quick enough. He ended up getting fragged out, so that was a big deal. And even then, they still had C4 utility they could have used for denial, which never came out. We think 1 got shot, and there was a Yokai drone in the area, potentially disabled by the EMP. So again, really good use of utility from Aero to secure their executes, and C9 are just left reeling here. The bomb site that's normally default for people to win on this is just not working for them at all. They're going to have to try and do something else here. I don't think they're changing what they're doing with lockers enough. I think they really should just change the bomb site and try to do something a little more unpredictable for Aero.
Yeah, this is a tactical pause for them. So this is the opportunity to talk about that with their coach, Summer Rain. But the problem for me is, like you said, there's no variety whatsoever. They're doing the same bomb site, and on that bomb site, they're doing the same strategy. And in that strategy, they're playing the same way. And one of those things or more than one of those things has to change. And you know, you can see that booklet on the table right there. That is pages and pages in Korean of strategies and counter strategies, and we've seen nothing from them. We haven't seen any substance from these guys. We haven't seen, oh, that's a strategy I like. I haven't seen that one before. It's, oh, there's the 5 operators that you would most stereotypically see on this bomb site, and oh, they're just doing the absolute normal stuff, and Aerowolf is bringing the direct counters to it, and it's not achieving what they're attempting to achieve.
Yeah, we're getting back into the action here with C9 going to be taking the CEO bomb site. This is one that this is the only round they've won, in fact. So this is a strong bomb site for them. Even the first time they lost it, it was a strong performance. It was just unfortunate for them that Mentalist was able to get a 1v2 clutch, but a good choice here to play this bomb site. It was strong before. They've got the same lineup. It could be strong again. They probably will have to try and adapt though, because Aero know what they're trying to do. Aero can start on that counter. C9, yeah, they really have to start doing something here. They have to be wary of the mental game. Sure, they're 3 rounds down. They could take this half with a 4-2, and that's not so bad considering how they've been playing. If they can get some momentum, they could bring it back on attack. So it's good that they've had that tactical pause, and they just have to get some confidence back in themselves. As we keep identifying, they're not really peaking aggressively or playing that much aggression, which is what we've seen from them before, which really just indicates they're really lacking in confidence.
The most recent game I watched that these guys play, it was against Ageless, and it was on Border. It was just one of their Pro League matches, and Cloud9 roamed so much. They played so aggressively. They did hard holds in CCTV, and they roamed completely freely around office. They always brought good utility. They always had information. They always went for runouts and had confidence in their plays. And we haven't seen very smart use of utility. We've seen Cloud9 picking the Dock instead of the Echo and losing around because of that. We haven't seen confidence in plays. We've seen the team have opportunities where they've needed to peak and haven't done anything. We have seen them also fail to use their utility and bring up a fresh strat into these rounds. And that's just so uncharacteristic of this team.
Yeah, and we see Aero already taking some nice early progress yet again into the Skylight stairwell. They are going to try and take from this side and get the walls open. It is the Jackal that is pushed in early. He's just droning ahead, and he's going to try and see where these defenders are and which potential areas he might be able to scan for some early footprints. We do see all of C9 on site here, so they're going to have to either do some mid to late round aggression if they wish to get Aero offside for their attack. Nilio does have a yokai in lobby, which he's going to start bringing towards the other side as they see the pressure is coming from the Skylight stairs. Luna trying to get a cheap pick through the janitor drone hole, but not seeing anyone. He might be able to get this yokai, and he does get that yokai. So that is 1 down already. That is not too great for C9. That is a thermite charge impact trick, I do believe. So that's 1 down. This is that's good for C9. That will really slow down Aero if they can trick the other. It might get chaotic.
Yeah, but utility is being wasted on both sides. So there you go. That's an open wall onto the bomb site for Aerowolf, but also, you know, talking about Ysera playing below and denying all that utility through the floor from Cloud9. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier in this game, and how if Nilio's worried about his yokai drones, he may be better off keeping one in the pocket until later in the round. But it looks like that's the kind of thing that I know because I watched Aerowolf's VODs. And what do we know Cloud9 for? Watching people's VODs. They should have known that, so shame on them. But anyway, without ragging on them too much, Aerowolf is playing so well right now, and finally we're seeing confidence with Aerowolf, and that's what we've been missing for so long.
No.
Ysera taking full advantage of that. That's all of the yokai denial gone. Sweet Black's doing some good work, but Ysera's ready to step up. It's time for Mentalist to get this plant down. Ysera, how does he win that fight? What are you doing, Sweet Black? Just Nova left. You can find one, but Ysera, what a fantastic round for the IQ.
Wow, what a round from Aero there. They just completely, they just tore C9 apart, just systematically picked them to pieces, just denying that utility and then just pushing to side, getting those frags. That Echo was just caught out on his yokai drone, completely unaware that somebody was pushing his spiral stairs. Aero just looking so strong.
I mean, these guys are 2 rounds away from making semi-finals. They only just managed this last season when they were playing against Aurgless, and that was a nail-biter 3 map. And here in contrast, we're looking at potentially Cloud9 winning 2 rounds in their debut series.
Yeah, we didn't think we'd be in this position at all, and we're going to see Aero's first half onto defense here. They're going to go with the Lockers bomb site, so the usual default. Pretty standard lineup again out of them, nothing too special. Even C9, they've taken the Capitao, which would be pretty good for denying Red Hallway, and Yeah, we'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, C9 finally look like they have something in mind. But the question is, you know, will Aerowolf allow them to do it? So we're looking right now at, obviously, the triple threat of the two hard breaches and the Thatcher, simply to open up the hatches and deny some information. You need to bring out Thatcher just in case the Cade comes out, and also deny information, particularly the Pulse inside of Vault. But the two other operators there, you know, we're not looking at an Ashe, we're not looking at a Zofia, we're not looking at a Jackal. We're looking specifically at these execution operators, the Ying and the Capitao, who Hetty and Neilio will be looking to leverage. Maybe we're going to see a red hallway drop. But at the moment, like, this is the problem. Like, Aerowolf have so much confidence right now. And Cloud9, yes, they bring this execution utility, but Aerowolf on Villa, it wasn't coming down to executions. It was coming down to Aerowolf roaming and Cloud9 not taking advantage. And when Cloud9 did want to execute a rush site early without clearing, they didn't do it as a team. And that's what we need to see from Cloud9.
Yeah, absolutely. And C9, first 30 seconds, they haven't made too much progress here. They were a bit shaken by that Jaeger peeking aggressively in an electric room. And we do have some roamers here in open area, so they are going to have to try and clear this out. Taylor pre-firing through the wall just to see what he can get, but nothing coming there. So almost a minute down, C9 again. They really need to start pushing here. They need to put more pressure and clear these roamers so they can get ready for this execute. It is Locker's bomb site. We talked about the importance of getting down to servers early enough if that's where you're attacking, so you can start betting out that utility. If they're not going to get there until 30 seconds to go, it's going to be a really rough time.
Aerowolf have made a good roam so far. They've shown their faces, and now they're just playing in, you know, smart positions where they can gather information. For example, Ysera bottom main stairs, and of course, Hysteric's playing aggressively. Wow, he's really just going to escape this. He's being live droned with the Yokai, but there is a player aggressive outside. Hysteric's no doubt frustrated that Speakeasy didn't call that out, but he didn't have the information. And, well, fortunately for Cloud9, they do catch off that player roaming upstairs. Speakeasy is just trying to get his drone out alive, but that won't happen. Still, I think that's a positive gamble for Aerowolf. I like the idea with their play, but finally, Cloud9 start keying into that.
Yeah, and it's good that it's stalled them out a bit, but C9, here we go. They're starting to open the hatches. A minute to go. If they're going to push server, they really have to get the legs on. And even this hatch opening is causing a lot of trouble for Taylor here. It's, yeah, not working out too well at all for him.
This is nerves.
Yeah, 100%.
That use of Maverick. I mean, Maverick is a very visceral operator. The way you use him, it really is reflecting on your, you know, how your mental fortitude is affecting you physically. Just the specific way that you have to use that operator. It's really clear when someone is nervous using it, and that's what we're seeing right now. Cloud9 feeling nervous.
Yeah, and they've opened the walls, but look at this, 34 seconds to go right now, and the first smoke grenade has just come out, so they're starting to bait. They haven't really actually baited, but that smoke grenade did come out. They can really easily just deny this with just the smoke grenades, let alone the C4s that they have at their disposal, on top of the Yokais.
Oh, the Candela is caught as well by an ADS, but Speakeasy decides he wants to do some work as well, defending downstairs. There's so much denial for Cloud9, sorry, for Aerowolf, and at the same time, Aerowolf are happy to just peek on out. It's Taylor forcing down a plant. Sweet Black has to cover this. Is there any cover? But no, Aerowolf don't deny the plant. This is suddenly possible for Cloud9. Hetty's doing some good work. Sweet Black gets flicked on by Ysera, and I can hear the players. They're yelling about this. Cloud9 knows how important this round is to them, but Speakeasy won't let it happen. 2 versus 1 now. Taylor, the captain of the newly picked up Cloud9. They have so much work to do. Position revealed. He's lost his confidence on these gunfights, but he knows he has to find it. There's a head. Just 1 more remaining. This could be the second round on for Cloud9, but no! Ysera clutches at the stun grenade, though. Might have prevented it from happening, but I think there's plenty of time to get this counter defused.
Yeah, he's got this.
And Ysera, an amazing clutch. Aerowolf on match points, series points, against Cloud9.
Yeah, and that's got to hurt even more. C9 really had that. They did so well to get that plan down in the end, given all the struggles they'd had. And Aero just threw it back against them. And then that nuts clutch from the Pulse. And yeah, you've got to feel it for C9 now. They're on so much pressure. Match point. They can't lose a round now. This is it. This is their chance at the semi-finals. And they can't give up. They have to keep going. They have to try and fight hard. And it's going to be really tough.
Up until 6 Invitational APAC qualifiers this year, every single APAC finals event, whether it was Pro League finals or whether it was a qualifier for a major event, Aerowolf has been there. and Aerowolf was always defeated by the team who eventually won the entire event. So in these single elimination brackets, they've always felt frustrated, you know? We always have to, you know, we're beaten by Fnatic, who wins. We're beaten by Norengo, who wins. We're beaten by Ainz, who wins. And finally, they're playing against Cloud9 here, who were my favorite, you know, unpopularly, my favorite to win the tournament. And Cloud9 have 2 rounds out of this many that we've seen so far. It is unbelievable to see the gatekeepers of APAC stepping up like this.
Yeah, and they've decided to pick a clash for this CEO bomb site, so just making it as hard as possible for Cloud9 here. All of the frustration's going to come out, and you know what? That's even like a really great psychological pick. It's already uphill battle for C9, and just to have to deal with the clash is just an extra pain in their side. And I think this is really looking all Aero at this stage. It's going to be so difficult for C9 to claw this back, but if a team can do it, C9 can pull it out. They've put in such strong performances before. All they have to do is just find their confidence, and I'm sure they can start bringing a few of these rounds back one at a time. And Vitaly here on the Dockerby, there is no mute to counter that, so it potentially could help them a bit.
Yeah, look, the Dockerby is a good pick, but I don't think it's a specific operator that's going to make the difference for Cloud9, because to me it's not overall a strategy. On the attacking side in particular, it's not a strategy or an operator or a utility that's missing out for Cloud9. The main thing in the attacking half anyhow is just this confidence and this ability to work together as a team. Maybe the Dokkaebi will help with that, because of course the Dokkaebi, it's a global ability. The entire team is aware of it when it's being used. Well, I guess you know, if he calls it out. So that might help synchronize the players a bit on Cloud9, help them make sure they're doing their job together.
Yeah, and we are going to see Vitaly just starting to put some pressure on those windows, and they are going to take from the skylight stairs side. So we do see a wall already partially open there. So C9 can take advantage of that if they wish. It looks like Aero are attempting to bait them into taking that side, perhaps, Dev. Maybe this is what Aero want them to do.
Wouldn't be surprised. And we do have Aerowolf, of course, with some very strong players in terms of, you know, long shots. We have players like Hysterics with this hard-hitting 416, challenging around the clash or through that long haul. You know, they're comfortable. They're keen to see Cloud9 push up here. Now, good use of the stun grenades. That's something we didn't see a lot of before. That counters the clash in the way that we didn't see on Villa, and still Ysera has been struggling with that as well. It's been really, this is a match of his life for Ysera so much. He's been playing so supportively on defense and so successfully on attack as well. The Cloud9 really have to start overcoming some of these obstacles.
And this clash is just being an absolute threat to C9 trying to get that wall open. They're trying to push close. They're finally placing the breach charge now. Ysera did drop back, but look, he's delayed 2 minutes. That wall is going open. Time not so critical as it is with lockers, because you don't have to bait as much, but it's slowed the progress of C9, and it's going to be in the back of their minds when they're going for the execute. Where is this clash? What can we do about the clash? On top of that, they have Yokais to worry about. Smoke grenades as well. It's a lot to think about. Vitaly just whiffing some shots there. He does hit Ysera for 1 hit, but it doesn't do much damage. Hysterics is actually on a roam. He's dropped downstairs. This clash, again, just pushing around to get this information. They are aware of the people pushing the breach, potentially even the push into the breach. The diffuser is going down from C9 here. He is getting close to getting his plant down. Luna does get a frag, but plant is successful. So now we're in a post-plant situation. Hysterics is on this flank. Luna picks up another one, so it's a 5v3 in post-plant here in favor of Aero. They are going to have to work quickly because the diffuser is against them, but
oh no,
looking
it's
strong.
just Hetty. He's the last man standing. Cloud9 are all on the floor. That's it. Aerowolf win. The clouds are turning grey, and the gates are closing for Aerowolf right now. Aerowolf have finally broken the curse, and Cloud9 is out of the tournament.
Wow.
I mean, you say Cloud9, oh sorry, you say Aerowolf have broken the curse. Well, I'll tell you, the Cloud9 curse continues. This is their 3rd straight season finals, being knocked out in the quarterfinals, and this must be the most devastating loss of the 3.
Absolutely, they are. I could definitely agree that this will be the most devastating of all 3. They came here as C9, a beautiful addition, something they thoroughly deserve with the international performances they've put in, but unfortunately they just weren't able to show up here and prove that they're worthy of the APAC land and to progress further than they have before.
Yeah, I don't want to touch too much on Cloud9. I think we all know the situation that they're in. I think what we should be doing right now, of course, is celebrating that win for Aerowolf. Absolutely. It has been a long time coming.
It was a miracle that they're even here. We said that. The team that was their direct competitor to get that spot at this LAN, They lost because the worst team in the league played the game of their lives. And that's the only reason why Aerowolf is standing with us today. And that's the reason why Aerowolf will be playing Fnatic in the semi-finals.
I can't believe it. I mean, so many times we've talked about Aerowolf out in APAC finals, and so many times I've been told that, hey, these are a team to watch out for, make sure you keep your eye on them. And then they've kind of fallen short. But this is the first time where we really kind of counted them out. I think it's definitely fair to say we said, you know, look, Aerowolf, they're the team to beat. There's not really much of a problem here. And all of a sudden, now with, as you say, no expectations on their shoulders, they seem to have risen back to that maybe quote-unquote former glory. Is it that far just yet, or do we have to wait and see?
I think this is a huge W for them, and I think if they, you know, their performance against Fnatic will be incredibly telling, because most people believe that Fnatic is the best team in APAC, and Aerowolf will have their time to see what they can do against that.
Yeah, and nothing more iconic than actually saying Aero versus Fnatic. It's a strong history and rivalry there, so it's going to be really great to see that happening again.
Yeah, and they were in fact the two teams from the APAC region who went to the very first Invitational in 2017. It was Aerowolf who was the representatives playing on PC, and Fnatic the representatives then known as Mindfreak playing on Xbox. So these guys are brothers.
Yeah, now in the lead up to this event in particular, and even previous events, we've obviously been talking about Aerowolf, we've been talking about some of their poorer performances in the past, and we've been saying, hey look, they started at the top, right? Back in the day, they started at the top. But the thing is, like, everyone else seemed to have caught up, and Aerowolf never really progressed too much further. Yep. Is that now something that's going to flip on its head? Have we seen a better performance than ever before here from Aerowolf?
Aerowolf have been in a rut, and I think that they're starting to come out of that shell. We haven't yet seen them be the best Aerowolf that we've ever seen, in my opinion. They're still, you know, that was a disappointing performance from Cloud9. It doesn't tell us as much about Aerowolf, and I think we'll have to learn most of that going into tomorrow, but I certainly have my hopes.
Yeah, definitely some question marks, of course, over Cloud9 now, but that's something that we have to talk about maybe next season in the Pro League. But for Aerowolf going up against Fnatic, I think that, again, you know, you've gone out of the frying pan and now you're sort of in the fire.
Absolutely in the fire, yeah. Fnatic showed up pretty strong against Cyclops Gaming earlier here today. And yeah, it's going to be really tough for Aero against Fnatic. Historically, they haven't been able to close out the matches against Fnatic. Many close matches against Fnatic, so I expect it to be a really, really big challenge.
Interestingly, I mean, hearing from Fnatic themselves, I heard a quote saying that, you know, they weren't actually so worried about their semi-final match against Cloud9, which was what people assumed. They were worried more about Cyclops. They thought Cyclops would be a harder match than Cloud9. And, well, Cloud9 won't be their opponent. I sure hope they were studying for Aerowolf.
Well, it quite definitely was a more difficult game, because now they don't even have to worry about Cloud9. But, of course, we do need to jump back onto the stage with Danny. He's got a friend from Aerowolf.
Thank you very much, Jordan. I'm joined here by Luna Metal from Aerowolf, and what a game that was. I mean, let's not deny it. It's pretty much facts that a lot of focus was put on Cloud9, but you've absolutely wiped the floor with them. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling ecstatic, man. It's like months of planning, and it pays off finally, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, you've played them a couple of times. The record in between you guys as a lineup is 2-2. Did it feel different because they've got the Cloud9 badge now?
I think everyone is like happy for them getting Cloud9, but I felt like the pressure got to them a little bit. In fact, if we played them as maybe when they were Mantis, you know, it might have been a lot more composed on their side. So I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, I guess that asks the question, did you guys bring it today, or do you think they sort of maybe even gave it to you a little bit?
I think it's a bit of both. I think this is the best my team have played in a long time. Especially if you follow us a lot, you know that we weren't doing very well in Pro League. And I guess now we're trying to transition to a LAN team instead of an online team.
Well, the big money question, you've done it once. Fnatic tomorrow, do you think your team can do it again?
Gates are closing, man. Yes, we can do it.
All right, well, best of luck. Congratulations on the win nonetheless, Luna. Always a pleasure. There you have it, guys. Fnatic taking on Aerowolf. Can they do the upset again? We'll have to see. Back to Plantation Farmer turned Desk Host, Jordan Mays.
Yeah, a few words of confidence there from Aerowolf. I think that's good to see. I don't know whether or not they would have been confident going into this entire tournament, but now most certainly I think they're riding on that wave of momentum. One might say that they're riding on Cloud9.
Yeah, good use of the Cloud9 pun there. It was really great to hear Glenn feeling so confident about his team and hearing him say that this is the best they've played in so long. It means that tomorrow could definitely really be competitive against Fnatic. They're running on so much confidence from that match. Yeah, they could just ride that out.
Yeah, I mean, without getting too personal, I was talking to Glenn a little bit over the last season at the last event that they participated at here, where they actually, you know, lost out to those guys. And Glenn was really worried. It was around the time when Array was leaving the team, and there was a serious air of almost like they were going to a funeral at the moment. You know, leaving that event, they knew that there would be roster changes. They knew it would be hard. Glenn, for a very long time, that's Lunar Metal on the stage, for a very long time, he's wanted to transition out of a playing role because he thinks his team needs a coach. That's what they need more than anything. They only have a team manager. He wants to be that coach, and he needs the right player to fit his role, and he hasn't found it yet. But it looks like that's not what we need to see them step up, because they're doing it even before that.
Well, maybe that is the case, but how much can they step up, Dev? That's my real question. As we look at the bracket now, it'll show us what is coming up for us tomorrow. Semi-final number 1, Nora, Rengo, and Xavier Esports. No surprises there, realistically speaking. Both of the Seed 1 teams getting through to the semi-final. We always expected it was Nora Rengo. Xavier and Auglis was a bit more of an argument, but nonetheless, I think this is what most people would have picked. And then Fnatic and Aerowolf. Now, obviously, we expected Fnatic, but Aerowolf, such an upset there against Cloud9. This has set us up for pretty interesting semi-finals. 2 different kind of storylines, but both are equally as enticing.
Yeah, I think absolutely both of those will be barn burners. Xavier and Nora is 2 very, in a way, similar playstyles. Nora really known for a lot of aggression. Xavier, we talked about a lot today, their ranked playstyle. So that's 2 strong, aggressive heads butting together. I think that's going to be a really, really close match tomorrow.
And I think in terms of storylines here, we've got the 2 APAC favorites, Nora Rengo and Fnatic versus 2 underdogs. You know, Xavier never made a global LAN, and Aerowolf haven't made a global LAN since the very first Invitational, way before Pro League even existed. So we're set up for an absolute treat, and we get to see a bit of a nostalgia moment with Fnatic and Aerowolf.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting sort of concept as well, given the fact that 2 seasons running, we've had Nora Rengo, we've had Fnatic in the grand finals, and once again, on paper, it looks like that's a real possibility for us tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely, but my money's going to be on Xavier for that first semi-final against Nora. I think they showed really strong performances today, and it's going to be really tough against Nora.
Certainly is going to be very tough indeed. That's something that we're going to have to figure out, though, tomorrow. That's all for us tonight. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time with all the semi-final and grand final action. See you then.